Today, I want to talk about dyslexia. It is something that we hear a lot about, but maybe don't have too much of an understanding of it. But if we do have a child with dyslexia, then it really can maybe concern us. But there is really some easy things that we can do to be helping our children with learning. It's fairly common. In the US alone, there's about 3 million reported cases a year. And you know what? It's not a big thing. There are so many things that we can do now to really help our children or ourselves as adults if we are dyslexic. It doesn't have to be something to hold us back. There is no cure for it because we really don't know what is causing dyslexia. We do sometimes see genetic patterns in families, but you know what? That's okay. It is something that's usually fairly easy to diagnose, though I do recommend that if you are concerned about your child having it, that you get a full assessment to really understand, because there are so many different levels of dyslexia. Really, what is it? It is where our children, for the most part, are having problems reading. We're getting letters and numbers jumbled and mixed up. We're not having a full awareness of what the word is. And so through that, we have some problems that they're going to be looking at the board or they're reading their book and they're maybe substituting other words that they know, or they're just totally missing the full meaning of what they are reading because they just don't get it. Things are jumbled up for them. And you know what? And that's okay. But we don't want to see them penalized for their learning. We don't want to see them penalized for just being who they are. And so there are some great things that we can be doing to help them, but we don't need to be afraid of dyslexia either. While there is no cure, there are things that we can do in a treatment form. Many children, many adults do so well with some specialized tutoring. People who do specialize, like in the Arthur Gillingham method, or some reading tutoring, that's going to help so that they can succeed. Dyslexia doesn't have to hold us back. But there are some things that we can look out for our children if we're thinking, they're not really reading early enough yet. Could they be dyslexic? Could there be something going on? And so there are some simple signs that you can look at, and then talk to your child's teacher, talk to your pediatrician about it and see if you maybe want to get an assessment. But one of the first things is your child, sort of pronouncing words like a small child would. Things like aminal instead of animal. Just those simple little flip arounds can be an indicator that there might be something going on. Does your child have trouble calling things by its right name? Are they sort of substituting in something that they know? Again, not a big worry, but it can be just a little sign that there is something going on. For many of us, breaking down a word and sounding it out is easy, but for a dyslexic child, there's going to be that problem in sort of isolating those different sounds or breaking down that word. And usually, again, they jumble things up. Like that's what we see in their writing, in their reading. They are jumbling things up. It's just happening in their brain and they don't realize it. So if you find that they aren't able to break down a word, that can be a good indicator. And one thing that we don't think about, but like instructions, can your child follow several step instructions? If they are having difficulty in remembering that, maybe it's the first part, but it's usually just the last part, then that could be a sign that they are struggling and it could be dyslexia. Now with all of these things, it might not, but if some warning bells are going off for you, then speak to your child's teacher or to your pediatrician and get some testing. We can sort of self-diagnose, but I think it is worthwhile to get an assessment done so that we really know maybe what level is this dyslexia at. And that can help us with some tools that we might need for our children. Now, we don't have to be limited by our struggle to read. There are so many amazing people out there who function so well in life who are dyslexic and you don't even know it. Like my husband is one example of this. He is someone who has dyslexia and operates in a second language, but does so many amazing things. Now, does he enjoy reading? Not necessarily because it's slow, but he can listen to books online. He can watch sort of training videos that help. There are so many great tools for our children. We don't have to have this just always in front of us, the print on page that might hold them back. They can listen to their stories and to their novels. They can listen to lectures. They can have somebody read things out to them because that is really going to help them. There are great tools like the talk to text. So it's going to allow you to speak out your story or your essay or whatever it is, and it will type it up for you. Now, of course, you still need to edit, and those are things that we, might need help with if you are someone with dyslexia, but that's okay. The creative industry is full of people with dyslexia, movie stars who maybe learn their lines through somebody reading it to them, or directors or producers or musicians. These are people that are not held back by a disability. They're going to find ways to think outside the box. It's going to help them with their learning, and through that, we reap the benefits of their creativity, and it's amazing. So if you feel that your child has dyslexia, again, talk to your pediatrician or your child's teacher, and we don't need to be afraid of it. It is something that really, they can succeed in life. Let's not be held back by a reading problem when there are so many things that we can do to really help to learn. My question today is, if you have dyslexia or a child with dyslexia, what are some things that you do that will help with your learning? There are so many great crafts or kits out there, and this is another fun one where you take a drink can and you can make it into a robot, a tin can robot, as they call it. This is great. All you need is a can that you have at home, and then the kit has the rest of the things, and you can put it together. You can even make it move. So this is something that is for boys and girls. It is for anyone, a mix of ages. It could be something as a family project the older ones could do on their own. A fun activity that you can also learn from. So let's make the most of kits like this. This one was under $10. So it's a great investment for a learning opportunity. Thanks so much for joining us today. Remember to answer the question, like us, give us a thumbs up, spread the word about Learning Life, share a video, and have a great day.